From the Casey State Bank Digital First Studio at WTWO, this is the Goin to the Hoop podcast. Sponsored by Terre Haute Chevrolet, Indiana State University, and Kirshner Building Centers.
Welcome to our Goin to the Hoop podcast. This is an exciting second week of February with Nicole Christina. I'm Grant. You have a special guest that's going to be joining us in just a little bit. Newest member of our sports team, Jack Berney. But Nicole, what a weekend of college basketball, going back to where college game day should have been at IU Purdue. The Hoosiers get a monumental win for Coach Woodson against the number one Boiler team that is still number one.
Still number one. Says a lot about that IU team and that game in general. It was a great game. I mean, from start to finish, I think we're starting to see an IU team that's really putting the pieces together a little bit more. Trace is just incredible. I mean, we saw it against Purdue, and then we saw it again Rutgers, passing the 2,000-point mark. I think it's going to be really cool when he inevitably passes Coach Woodson later this season. And so that's a great storyline formulating there in Bloomington. Purdue is exceptional. I mean, it was so much fun to watch that game, just to watch both of the teams. It was really, really fun. Co-Big Ten players of the week, very deserved. Something cool that I was actually talking to somebody about right after the game was Trace giving that shout out to Edie in his post-game interview. Matt Painter shouting out TJD in his post-game interview. There's just a respect there, as much as the fan bases might talk their crap and stuff, and it is a rivalry, there's a respect there in both of those programs, and they understand that they are both elite right now, and that's really cool. And I just can't wait for the matchup in West Lafayette. It's going to be a good one. And the good news, even though I am wearing black and gold today, is that I don't have to wear a Purdue shirt on this podcast because I did not lose the bet that I made. Actually, IU did not lose me that bet. So no sweep, and I wouldn't be surprised if they split it because it's going to be hard to play at Mackey.
It's a great rivalry. Yeah. A great day for IU. Purdue, Edie holding strong as well, 30 and 15 against IU. It was a special day at Holman Center on Saturday as well. Coach Schertz, as he said, if they play like that every time, he would come back on the podcast every week.
Yes.
Sycamore is setting a school record, 19 three-pointers. They scored 99 against Murray State. Then they followed that up last night.
17, right?
We were both there, 17 against Valpo. Here we are. There are 5 games left. They are right in the thick of this Valley Conference race. They're only a game behind Drake.
They are, and I was talking about it with someone at the game last night. I wouldn't be surprised if they could win this conference with the way that they've looked in the last couple of games. I mean, just so strong. Of course, playing Valpo, playing Evansville, those aren't necessarily the biggest competitors in terms of, seeing where you're at. Scoring 99 points on Evansville isn't necessarily saying that, that much, but it was a great game. And then to follow it up last night with another strong performance. They're passing the ball well. I think I saw something that by halftime, like all 9 players who had been out on the floor had scored. I mean, they've got that depth, and they're really good at passing the ball around. They're really good at finding the open man, and it was just a lot of fun to watch last night to see them come off that really strong win and then be able to follow it up. Now they've won 4 in a row, and we're talking about the top of the conference again, which is great.
Yeah, you can't wait to see. They have a huge game at Northern Iowa this weekend. They got Northern Iowa here, but it's going to be tough. At Northern Iowa, one of the toughest places to play.
Yes.
But Northern Iowa just lost to Evansville last night. Evansville's first conference win, so they're going to be ready for some payback on Saturday. We'll see what the Sycamores can do with a big one there against Northern Iowa on Saturday. We have to brag on our 2 girls' teams, North Knox and Bloomfield. Bloomfield winning their 3rd straight sectional. They beat North Central Friday night. And North Knox beating Paoli. They're still number 1 in the state. Coach Mira was on our podcast one week. They are both rolling to regionals this weekend. Have big games Saturday afternoon at 4.
Yeah, it's really exciting when we get down to these final teams because you can feel, of course, we want all of our local teams to succeed, and we want to see a ton of teams left at the end of the season, but you can kind of feel the backing just in the region for the teams that are left, and that's always a cool thing to see. And, like you said, we had Coach Muir on the podcast. He's just created such a dynasty there in North Knox, and it's really great to see them continue to develop that and prove themselves. And Bloomfield, I mean, you've got a strong girls program, strong boys program there, and that's really cool to see 2 small schools that are really pulling out and being really elite in our region, and they've got some good competition. I mean, you're talking about 2 different sectionals that were pretty hard and pretty deep. It was hard. It was hard to see, who was going to come out of that 2A one. And so it's exciting to cheer for them in regionals. It's a different beast, but I think we've got some strong teams left, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them continue to advance. I hope so, at least.
Bloomfield gets Eminence Saturday at 4. North Knox gets South Ripley Saturday at 4. We'll have highlights of both. Hey, we're just getting rolling on our Going to the Hoop podcast. Coming up next, Jack Berney's going to join us. In the final block, we're going to do a little Super Bowl fun.
Ooh.
Here's our top plays of the night. You're watching our Going to the Hoop podcast. Welcome back to our Going to the Hoop podcast. It is a big weekend with a lot of boys and girls high school basketball, but we're going to break up the basketball action now. We have a very special guest. He is the newest member of our WTWO sports team. It is Mr. Jack Berney. Jack, welcome to the podcast and welcome to WTWO.
Thank you, guys. I've really enjoyed it so far. First couple days, a lot of busy sports reporting. Went to the ISU game last night, saw Sycamores win. That's always good. So excited to be a part of the team.
Sycamores are 1-0, so you can go back to a game now. They won against Valpo last night.
Big win. Log jam at top of the Valley standings. So hopefully the Sycamores can, make some noise.
Absolutely. And I know you really enjoyed going to Holman Center yesterday, I'm sure. What were your thoughts on that? I know we talked a little bit about, your experience at Kent State. We'll get into that a little bit, your background. But what was your first impression of being downtown Terre Haute at the Holman Center last night?
I really liked the Holman Center. I don't know how big I was expecting it to be, but it was bigger. And I like how it's kind of built vertically. Like the seats were vertical, and that was really cool. But good atmosphere. The crowd was very into it the whole time, which I like. And, there's some passionate fans, passionate viewers here. And I'm excited to, get to report on all the sports that they love because they really are into it like they were last night.
Sycamore's on a roll right now. They've won 4 in a row. They're only a game out of first place in a tight Missouri Valley Conference race. And, yeah, you were right by some rabid Sycamore fans last night that we like to see. Got a little testy there end of the first half as start of the second half, but the Sycamores were able to pull away 17 three-pointers last night.
Yeah, and they made 19 the game before. They've been really passing the ball well, too, limited turnovers. So it seems like they're peaking at the right time, hopefully. The conference season's wrapping up, and then Arch Madness coming up, too. So they definitely want to be playing their best basketball right now, which it seems like they are starting to.
Yeah, so we do want to talk a little bit about you, Jack, and a little bit about your background so that all of our viewers and everyone who's going to see you out at games knows a little bit of your background. Okay. So tell us a little bit about you and where you come from and some of your background in sports reporting in college.
Absolutely. So I'm from Strongsville, Ohio. It's a suburb of Cleveland, so I'm a big Cleveland sports fan, so I apologize for anybody that may offend here. I don't know. But
no offending.
Then I went to college at Kent State University, which is close to Akron, Ohio. And I did a lot of sports reporting there. I was a part of our student run TV station. I was the sports director there, sports reporter, reported on all things Kent State sports and local high school sports. Got to go to the Potato Bowl in Idaho. That was probably one of my favorite memories.
Awesome.
My junior year, the Kent State football team made the Potato Bowl. They flew me out to Idaho. Boise, Idaho is beautiful, by the way. If you guys ever get the chance to go, it's really cool. And, the blue field down there in Boise, it was really cool to cover that game. And so, yeah, I've had a ton of experience. I also got to call some men's and women's basketball games for ESPN3 at Kent State while I was in college there, so that was really cool to get that experience as well. But I think, I'm very appreciative of my time at Kent State, and I think it's definitely prepared me to do this job and work here and do a good job, which I hope to do.
Hit the ground running right away, covering the ISU game Wednesday night. And you've had a lot of experience covering MACtion, so you know a lot about college basketball, which we're kind of, it's the bread and butter season of college basketball right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the MAC and Missouri Valley are kind of two similar conferences. Yeah. We mentioned how tightly packed the Missouri Valley is. The MAC, there's a three-way tie for first, including Kent State. So I know I'm going to be focusing on the Sycamores, but I also got an eye on Kent State and the MAC and see how they do. So hopefully they can, make March Madness and make a run in the MAC tournament.
Can't wait for Arch Madness and March Madness. I think I know the answer to this question, but your favorite Cleveland sports memory probably would be?
Probably 2016 NBA Finals, 3-1 comeback, the block, the shot, LeBron, Kyrie. I was 16 when that happened. That was pretty cool. And then I'm a bigger baseball fan. Actually, I like covering basketball more than any other sport, but I'm a bigger baseball fan, actually. So if the then Indians, the now Guardians, would have won that series against the Cubs, that Rajai Davis home run would probably be number one. But
tying that against Chapman, yeah.
Yeah, since it was a loss, I have to rank the Cavs championship above that one.
And as Cubs fans here, we're really happy that you have to rank that second as well.
You guys got the 108-year curse broken. We're on, I think you're 75 now, so hopefully.
Yeah, you have some time. You have some time to build in there, I think.
A funny story about that home run. I was anchoring that night, Game 7. I was going to anchor sports as he hits the home run and ties it. So, of course, my heart's broken. I have to go out there and act like I'm here to tell you about other sports around the Wabash Valley when I'm really focused on the Cubs blowing possibly their World Series chance, only of my lifetime. But thankfully, things
the rain delay. The rain helps a lot.
Jason Hayward. But what an epic World Series with two good teams.
That's one of the best World Series ever. I think that's probably the best game ever. The only time Game 7 ever went into extra innings. Yeah.
Very good.
Really cool.
Speaking of the Indians/Guardians now, Timmy Herron, who we covered a lot with high school sports around here, college at IU. Now he has a chance. He's going to be, at least we think, on the Guardians 40-man roster to start the season. It's always good. Baseball, you're going to see when spring gets here. Baseball's big around here. Timmy Herron has a chance to make some noise with the Guardians this year.
Absolutely, and interestingly enough, while I was in college, I interned for the Akron Rubber Ducks, which is the AA affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians. I actually got to see Tim Herron pitch there while I worked there. So the connection there is pretty cool, and hopefully, it'd be great to see him make the Guardians roster this year.
The stars are aligning.
That's right.
Yeah. It was written in the stars.
Should we say the Ducks are aligning?
That's true. The Rubber Ducks. Is the Rubber Ducks the oddest name of a team you've covered ever? Or is there an odder one? I'm trying to think if I've ever covered any team. The Rubber Ducks.
I know.
Not even just the Ducks.
Minor league baseball teams are just the best.
They used to be the Arrows back in the early 2010s, but then they changed the Rubber Ducks. Not the Akron, birthplace of rubber, the Rubber City they call it. So
all right.
I think it's a fitting nickname. Not teams I cover, but there is a minor league team called the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I think that's
right up Marvel's alley too.
That is
Rocket
amazing.
From Guardians of the Galaxy.
I need to get some of their merch. That sounds awesome.
Trash Panda.
Well, we know that you're really into sports, as we all are on our sports team here. But what else are you interested in? What do you do if you're not covering sports, watching sports, talking about sports for work?
Yeah, absolutely. I love movies. Musicals. I was a big theater guy in college, in high school and college. I did a lot of theater performances. Probably my favorite role I ever played was Buddy the Elf in Elf musical.
Epic.
So that was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, I'll always love to go see a show. Watch movies on Netflix, stuff like that. Big Disney fan as well. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
I think he's going to fit right in.
I think so too.
Baseball talk and Marvel and Disney and everything
else. And Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the Elf.
What else can you ask for?
Iconic.
I love it.
How excited are you? We're not putting you on the spot, but a chance to cover. You're kind of joining us here right in the thick of high school basketball season.
Oh, absolutely. From Ohio, but whenever I thought of Indiana and sports, basketball was the thing. The great movie Hoosiers with
Gene Hackman.
Hackman. I love that movie, and I was like, man, it's going to be really cool to cover basketball in Indiana. I feel like high school sports, high school basketball just means more here. People are very into it. The athletes, the parents, the families, and our viewers, and it's going to be really cool to be able to tell the story of those teams that, are competing for championships this time of year, right before March. I feel like you said, it's a great time to join. I'm very excited to, like you said, be able to report on those.
We're so excited to have you here.
We're welcome. We're happy to have you here. You might see Jack at a game real soon. Hey, thanks for watching Going to the Hoop podcast. We're back with more right after this.
Here are this week's matchups. Kirshner Building Center is proud to support local sports in the Wabash Valley.
Welcome back to our Going to the Hoop podcast. Yes, we love high school basketball, college basketball, NBA. None of us got traded at the NBA trade deadline today, although they had some interest in our director, Luke. We're talking Super Bowl.
Yes.
Before we get to the game predictions, we love food here. So what's your go-to Super Bowl
Ooh, that's a good
dish
question.
or dishes? I mean, it can be more than one thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I do love the wings. Like
Sure.
that's a quality Super Bowl meal, just a messy. Don't
Yeah,
do boneless. Got to have bone in. You know, you got to get messy.
Wings, yeah, they're not wings. They're kind of nuggets.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
boneless, right?
So I would say wings are a must-have. And actually, I made this last year, like a street corn dip, and it was really good. And you can put some tortillas in that. I think I might make that again this year for it. But I just love seeing all. I mean, you've got the like little mini corn dogs and pigs in a blanket people bring. I'm trying to think what's some of yours that come to mind?
I'm from the South, so anything cheese like buffalo chicken dip.
Oh
I
yeah,
get the wing fix there, and then rotel. You know what rotel is?
Oh
It's
yeah.
kinda
Oh yeah,
cheese dip and chips, but all the dips, even a veggie tray with ranch,
spinach
or
dip, that can work
spinach
too.
Dip,
Yeah,
fruit,
get your
fruit
healthy
dip.
in.
Yeah, eat something green, right?
Yeah.
or a can of something green, Mountain
Right.
Dew or something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, that works too. And now to the game. Speaking of green
Yes.
and red, you two number one seeds. What are your thoughts as we head towards the big matchup? Certainly we're having fun with the podcast. Super Bowl
Yeah.
predictions are always fun.
Of course. Well, I am going to go with the team that I want to win rather than
As you should.
Yeah,
Go
because
with
I mean,
your-
I think it's going to be a good game. I hope it's an entertaining game. That's really what you want at the end. I mean, we both have our teams we back in the NFL,
Sure,
and neither one are there.
Didn't sniff the playoffs.
Yeah.
sadly,
So I would say I would like to see the Eagles win. I like Patrick Mahomes. I like Andy Reid, but I think that the Eagles have just had a really cool story this year. Jalen Hurts.
Virgil thinks so as well.
Yes, I'm sure he does. Yes. And I just think that it would be cool to see them win. Nick Sirianni,
Sure.
he's
Oh,
a Mount Union grad.
Yep.
So
Very cool.
my husband's rooting for him because of that. They have that in common in terms of some time spent in Alliance, Ohio. But it's just a good story, I think, to see a team that and a head coach that hasn't been able to do that, accomplish that. And Jalen Hurts, he's the talk of the town, and he's deserved that. And Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's won one. I'm not going to say, he's won one, so he doesn't need to get another one. But I kind of like to see the Eagles win. And, as a Steelers fan, we love obnoxious fan bases.
Right.
And is there really much more of an obnoxious fan base than the Eagles? In the best way, though. Like,
I
they're
can't think of
awesome.
one. Yeah.
I like them.
Maybe Kentucky basketball fans.
Yeah,
maybe that,
like
no.
I like them. They're they're mean and they're into it and they're passionate, and I love that. So I want to see them celebrate.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. The Eagles won it just a few years back with
Yeah.
Nick Foles. I'm like you. I think I'm kind of pulling for the Eagles as well. I think like maybe the Eagles 37-34. There's your prediction.
I'll go 28-17.
Okay.
How about that?
But then part of me's like, is Patrick Mahomes really going to lose the Super Bowl at
I know.
State Farm Stadium? Because State Farm.
That's true.
So,
That's
I don't know.
true.
The conspiracy
I haven't even thought about
theorists
that.
could think about that too. I don't know. Mahomes.
Well,
at the
And the other thing is, what we haven't talked about yet is going to be the best part of the night, which is the Rihanna performance.
Bum,
It's
okay, I'm
gotta,
singing.
it's gotta be great.
Yes.
There's no way. No way it's not awesome.
We've both kind of grown up with
Oh,
Rihanna
yeah.
songs, so I expect for a good halftime show.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. And I think she will play the song from Black Panther, but I really hope she doesn't open with it, because that
Sure.
would be a little, you
Yeah.
want like something, I think the song, let's think, what
Well,
song
because
do you
that's the
think
thing.
she's
You
going
got
to
to
open
open
with?
with something big, and you got to close with something big.
I
Because
could
you
see,
want to kind of keep it,
yeah, I could see her opening with like "We Found Love" or something,
Yep.
like one of those like
There's
dance
only
songs.
one song she's got to close with. We know what that is.
What?
Umbrella.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Well,
that's
she's-
true. That's true. Yeah, that would
I
be. Or
mean-
"Don't Stop the Music" would be a good
Yeah, that
one
would
to
be a good
start
one, too.
with. But yeah, I do think she'll get the Black Panther in there. You got to do
Sure,
that
it's a good
ode to
song.
Chadwick
Yep.
Boseman, and it is a
Yes.
good song. And I'm interested to see like who could she bring out too. That would be
I know,
interesting.
the special guests are always key. So a couple of my favorites, Tom Petty was great.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl, and Katy Perry rode a rocket ship to the moon. Those
That's
were
true.
two of the.
I was.
And Missy Elliott. No one knew Missy
Yeah.
Elliott was going to be with Katy Perry.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I mean, I really liked last year's. I loved the Prince one. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
I mean,
Prince is
in the Rain.
just
That's
iconic.
probably number one for me.
Yeah.
But when you're playing Purple Rain in the Rain, you're not really going to.
I know
that,
you
but-
can't. The Lady Gaga one I like too. She jumped from the
Yeah,
top,
oh,
right? I mean,
the
yeah.
top.
So It'll be cool. I'm excited to see the game. I hope it'll be good. I hope the commercials are good. I feel like the last couple of years they haven't been as good. But
hopefully this year we'll step up as we will
Yeah.
step up and try to do better on the Going to the Hoop podcast next week. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks to Jack. Thanks to Luke and Nicole. We've had a lot of fun. Can't wait to see what the basketball brings this weekend. We'll see you soon.